I would really prefer if you would be quiet.
Welcome to Demasked. My name is Fresman, and today I'm joined by Frankie Fey. Frankie, how you doing today?
Very excited to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Now, in a nutshell, how would you describe your channel to somebody who hasn't found your channel yet?
Oh my god. Um, my family at some point, they like wisened up. They wanted to know what it is that I'm doing on the internet. What is your job now? My immediate family knows, but everybody else, they all get the same answer. Video editor. And then when they like dig a little deeper and I'm forced to actually admit something about the video, the polite answer I always give is, I make videos about, art. I make videos about the history of certain art that has been published to the internet. Because it's technically true. It's a grain of truth in a mountain of poop. But it's true. So yeah, I never give it right away because I'm afraid to scare people off. So I just say like, oh yeah, like art history, internet history, something like that.
Well, I've also seen some of your older videos. You've done some animation work in the past as well.
Yes, in another life.
Have you ever thought about making animations of the topics you've covered thus far?
Certainly not of the topics. They're pretty objectionable and gross. I don't know. Eventually I think I might return to animation and maybe make like something else, but honestly I totally lost my interest in it. Like the second I started doing the videos themselves, I channeled the same creative impulse into After Effects and editing. Gotcha. And I'm kind of surprised that I don't know, I totally lost my interest in animation. I just found some other way to do it.
You heard it here, folks. You heard it here first, folks. There will be no fan animation of malepregnancy.com.
Yes, unfortunately, the malepregnancy.com OVA is not being made by me. But maybe someone else will step up to the task.
But that's why I had you on the show in the first place.
I'm so sorry. This must be very disappointing.
So real quick, I do have a audience submitted question.
Ooh, yeah. That's awesome.
So
make your audience ask me all sorts of like, I don't know if can I curse on here?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, I'll do one because I'm trying to be less profane. So like, I'm trying to be ladylike. But I would encourage your audience to send in like fucked up questions because I love it when a question is fucked up.
Now, it's a simple one, but I'd like your answer. And so I've been told to ask it in this specific wordage.
Oh no.
Are you a Homestuck?
I'm not. However, when Homestuck was new, when it was big, I think this was like late 2011, 2012, I was friends with a couple of girls who like really got in on the ground floor, and I got to kind of witness from the outside, only half understanding the phenomenon. I tried to read it. I actually tried to read it. I found it so overwhelming. It was like such a dense piece of fiction, and it had its own like dialect. It had such a specific, the diction. It was just like a universe of things unto itself. I found it very overwhelming. Like it's not a casual interest, so I never really got into it, and I never totally understood it. But all the Homestucks in the world have my understanding, because as I was telling somebody else earlier today, when I was a teenager, when I was like a young preteen, whatever, all my friends, they were all Fujoshiing out, and I never did it, but I got to see what it was like. So I understand a lot of these fandoms in a kind of indirect way. So shout out to whoever asked if I'm a Homestuck, because I'm not, but I came so close, you know what I mean? The environment was right.
Shout out Chai Kitty for that question.
Yeah, great question. I like that question.
Now, in that same vein, is there any fandom that you've covered on your channel that you're personally a part of?
You know what's the funniest thing? I don't know how to explain this. I'm not.
Oh, no.
No. It's I've actually never met anyone who could agree with this sentiment, so we'll see. But I've never been in a fandom. I don't know why. I've never been so attached to some kind of IP, some story, whatever, that it was like a consuming interest. I like a lot of stuff. I read a lot of stuff. I watch a lot of stuff. But I'd never been like a stan of really anything. And I don't know why. I feel like I'm missing out. Like, I feel like I don't have that gene. Which is to say, nothing that I have covered in any of my videos is a fandom that I'm in, except, I always vaguely knew. Do you know what Gachi Muchi is?
The muscle, isn't that the muscle?
Yeah,
worship?
it's such a difficult thing to explain. It's like ironic gay muscle edits from Japan. They're actually really well made. They're very funny. They're very entertaining to watch. You don't have to know anything about it to enjoy it. So I'd say that's like the closest thing that I'm a fan of that I've covered, just because they're so visually dazzling. They're like genuinely fantastic pieces of art, and it's sad to me that more people don't know about it, but no, can't say I'm a fan of like the Subway poop sandwich, like things like that. It's all stuff that I have to study beforehand.
Well, like right when you were like, well, there's this one, and my eyes locked onto gay Italian pregnant.
The gay Luigi.
I'm like, here it comes.
I think that was like the second major wave for my channel, because I had one video kind of early on that blew up, and then this pregnant gay Luigi, like a couple months after it came out, I never used TikTok because I don't know what's wrong with me, like I just don't use it, but my phone started blowing up. People were tagging me on TikTok and something. A bunch of people were tagging me in the same video. I don't know if you've seen it, because it like made the rounds for a day. But it's just this guy, and he's just recording his, like, YouTube recommended page. And it's my video is just conspicuously, like, the worst one there. And he's like, hey, guys, what do you think? Should I watch this video? And he zooms in, and he just reads the title, The Unbelievable Lore of Pregnant Gay Luigi. And people on TikTok seem to really lock the fuck onto this one, because it did blow up the channel for a little bit. Yeah, no, I'm not in the pregnant Luigi fandom. Sorry for that tangent. To answer your question.
No.
But I am a
you're
fan of
good.
Luigi, like, because I feel like through learning about all these awful things that people are doing to him in the realm of fiction, it's like I have so much sympathy for him now. Like, I feel protective over him like I would a child. Like, get away from him! Stop it! You know what I mean?
Now, so when I watched I hope I'm pronouncing it, it's Gachimuchi?
Yeah.
So I watched that one on, you know how most folks when they watch YouTube is on their phone or a laptop, a tablet, you know, some small conspicuous
Don't tell me you
device.
watch this on a TV.
Living room TV.
No, why would you do that?
And the whole time me and my partner are sitting here watching this thing, and like I had the thought of like, man, if somebody kicked in our front door right now.
Do you know how many comments I get being like, someone walked past... I get this comment literally every video, all the time. I was playing this out loud, someone walked past my room and shut my door. It's just, I mean, first of all, I wouldn't recommend anyone to watch my videos, because, like, don't harm yourself that way. And, like, not even facetious, don't watch this stuff. No one needs to know this. And also, for the love of God, like, if you're gonna watch it, please, headphones on. I cannot imagine the demented state of mind you need to occupy to play one of these things out loud.
I want you to know that, so me and my partner do fairly consistently watch your videos, and they are almost all without headphones.
That's crazy. Power to you. I don't know why you're doing that.
Well, there was a day where I had been introduced to your channel, like told the name and all this, but I hadn't fallen down the rabbit hole yet. And my partner goes, hey, I'm going to put on some background noise on my computer monitor while we do laundry. And I turn away and I hear, this is the story of the 4chan tile fucker. I'm like, oh yeah.
Well, this is actually, I feel it's a very divisive technique. I don't think I've completely figured out how to thread the line on this, but I like putting sentences together, and my personal favorite kind of sentence is anything where it's the most information-dense possible thing. So the fewest words to convey the most ominous, or something that something that just inherently like, okay, I've been introduced to this thing as of 2 seconds ago, and obviously a piece of information is missing, and I must know more. And I'm aware that, you know, I watch YouTube in the background all the time. I literally, like, I'm so bad about this. I watch YouTube, like, stuff that you actually have to listen and pay attention to while I'm editing my videos, which is probably why sometimes the editing quality is not amazing. But the point is, I'm acutely aware that, like, 50% of people are listening to this in the background, and they might not even see the screen at all. So I really, really over-engineer the crap out of those sentences, specifically for that purpose, for that thing you just described. You were just minding your business, and then the 4chan tile fucker, ooh. These words are designed to, like, make your hair stand up, get your attention, whether you want to or not. So I'm very happy to hear that it had the intended effect, because I'm always workshopping this stuff. I'm always trying to find what's the maximum impact you can do with your verbiage without being completely obnoxious, because it's a very, very thin line.
I also love your self-advertisement of don't watch my videos.
You know, like, I know obviously reverse psychology, like, haha, you know, it's funny to unsubscribe, haha, but also there is a part of me that, like, am I putting things out onto the internet that are of true literary value? Like, just because I researched this thing, does that make this smart? Does that make this Does this need to be added to the human body of knowledge? I don't know. I'm still gonna do it. I just don't know if it's the right idea.
A new shelf on the digital library of Alexandria that is YouTube.
You know, it's just horrendous. I I don't even know where I find this stuff, because I get that question a lot. Don't even ask me how I know half of this stuff. A lot of it was stuff that I witnessed firsthand on the internet, like when it was happening when I was young, and I had kind of the vestige of the memory, and then I looked into it. But it's like, you gotta really scour. You have to deal quite a mental blow to yourself sometimes in the research process, because... oh my god, sorry, I'm just rambling here.
No, you're good.
Okay, so there are actually a few video topics that I had to just, like, throw out, like, the video's halfway written or whatever, and I just have to, like, no, I'm not comfortable with this. This is above my pay grade. The thing is, like, there is truly I don't have to do much... I don't have to do a whole lot of, like, rhetorical tricks to sell how ridiculous something is. Because these things that I talk about on the channel, a lot of them are they're so ridiculous on their face that I don't have to dress it up. The joke writes itself. But, you know, for every one very, like, organically funny thing that you find, you find, a lot of really maladaptive behavior displayed on the internet. You read a lot of posts, you view a lot of images that, like, you kind of can't scrub out of your brain, and, like, some of them are like, haha, like, oh, it's furry porn, and that's why it's, ooh, scary. But I actually have seen some stuff that really messed me up when I wasn't looking for it. Like, during the research process. Like, the reason that these topics are funny at all is because you have to push them only the slightest bit further to find something genuinely, like, morbid and disgusting.
Now to sort of put a joke tilt on this, are you telling me you've been rattled awake in the nighttime by gay, Italian, and pregnant Luigi?
You know, gay, Italian, pregnant plumbers have actually been the least of my problems. But I would be lying if I said that I haven't seen some Animal Crossing pornography that I really want to forget.
It's not Isabel, is it?
No. I don't
Okay,
even... I'm not even... There's no more information that I could give you that would make that any better.
I mean, I am staring at the Goonpocalypse thumbnail.
That was a pretty crazy thumbnail even for me. That video was actually a bit of a train wreck. And it was the video that blew up the fastest. It was like one of those instant 1 out of 10s. Like, you don't even realize what you did right until the video's already sailing. And I don't know if you ever had this experience, but, like, if one of your videos gets a lot more viewership than you were expecting, it's never a good thing. Like, if you truly aren't expecting it, it's because you did something that got people's attention. That's usually not good. That video messed me up. That blew up way too fast. Couldn't handle it.
What? my most popular video on my channel is, it's not even the fact that it's something, I hate that it's something I didn't work hard on.
It's that way a lot of the time. Everybody says this. It's true. The fact is, you only have so much control. You can only curate this disposable piece of video content so wonderfully in the time you have until you gotta just move on to the next thing. And sometimes you just crap one out and it's just genuinely not good and people love it. And then sometimes you work really, really hard on something and it gets, I don't know, like 13 views and that's it.
So my greatest shame, have you ever heard of the Army Men game series?
It's not ringing a bell.
It's totally fine if you haven't. I believe their last game was like 2006, if that. I made a video that is, there's no editing to it. It's just a cutscene that showcases that the same male voice actor voiced about 3 or 4 different people because of like low budget. And I put 0 effort into it. I put it out there about 10 years ago. It has 19,000 views.
Oh my god.
And I'm so ashamed and I can't get rid of it because I keep staring at it.
That's just one of those things. That truly is just how it is. You'll just crap something out. I have some video, I mean, I'm going to be very honest. I don't like most of my videos. I have a very hard time watching them. I'm overly self-conscious. But like some videos I genuinely dislike. Some I just feel like I can see where I rushed. I can see where, you know, this could have been improved with even like 30 additional seconds of context. But it's very surprising to me that
of that Sonic toilet.
quite a few videos that I made that I genuinely think are like among the worst ones on a technical and a writing level, they seem to have done just fine. When I effort post, that's when I start getting in my head, and I feel like a lot of people can probably relate to that. I've attempted a few effort posts. My videos have been getting longer, and the viewership is good, but not what I thought it would be. Sometimes people like the lo-fi thing. Sometimes they just want a piece of garbage.
Well, I will say, like, as a point, you know, in the positive towards your channel, your thumbnail work is very attention-grabbing.
Thank you. Can I have your thoughts on the newest thumbnails? Because you can still see where the old ones are on the channel. I updated a whole bunch of them. I just wanted something that looked a little bit more, like, designed, as opposed to just slapping text onto an image. Very curious, because I know they're quite loud.
Well, like, are you talking about the ones that have your logo on them?
Yeah, those are the newer ones. I've started slowly kind of polishing it up.
So those are great. How do I word it?
Epic. I'm very glad you think so. I worked really hard on these new ones.
But it is what I would say is a visual summarization of the way you introduce your video topics, where like I have it over here on my third monitor, but when I kind of peek up at it, I see gay pants. I'm like, what the fuck is that about? And then I kind of want to sit down and figure that out.
The thumbnails are really hard. As I'm sure you know, thumbnails are really freaking hard, and it is very unfair. You know, you've heard of the 80-20 rule, right?
No, actually.
It's kind of a heuristic. It's not like a real, like, it's not like the laws of physics, but it does apply to a lot of stuff. For a really good example, you want to put 80% of your effort writing that video into the first 20% of the video, which for all intents and purposes is your intro and change. Everything after that, you've already finished the hard part. It's just something about, like, the proportion of how much effort you invest, that just, even that slight difference affects the overall thing. And there's something about thumbnails, like, your video can be amazing. If your thumbnail sucks and no one's going to look at it, no one's going to click on it, and your video gets no views. So, even though these thumbnails are the proverbial 20%, or in this case, you know, like 1% of the entire package that is that video, you gotta put your whole soul into that. You got to design the crap out of that thumbnail. And I've gotten quite a lot of negative feedback on them too, actually. But I think it's good. I think it's a filtering mechanism because I think the people who want to watch these videos, they should not be dissuaded by a scary thumbnail. Normal people are the ones who should see this and go, oh, no thank you. I don't want to learn about gay pants.
Or the unfortunate normal person that comes by and says, what the fuck is a goonpocalypse?
Man, I'm looking at these thumbnails because I'm just like looking at the absolute. Haven't you heard that expression from like a million years ago? The absolute state.
Yeah.
The absolute state of this channel. Can't believe this. I also think the stuff I make is super weird. Like, don't get me wrong. I have really no finger on the pulse of like what my audience knows about me or how I see things or what they think I think. But just to be totally crystal clear, I do not think the videos I make are normal. I don't think these topics are normal. I'm very internet poisoned, but I do go outside. So I just want to state for the record, if you all think I'm like crazy and this is the only thing I talk about all day, you're only half right.
I may make these videos, but I do go outside. I do touch
but
grass.
It's like you look
it
like I'm looking
burns.
at the tile fucker thumbnail right now, and I'm thinking like, imagine the mind of the person that made this. Oh wait, that's me. Just horrendous.
Who would make something like this as you slowly turn to a mirror?
As I just catch my reflection in the in my phone screen.
No.
That's what's going through my head every time I look. Yeah, these thumbnails are crazy actually, now that I'm like really analyzing them. But I'll take the compliment, thank you.
Well, like, whenever I make, my style of making thumbnails has changed dramatically I'd say the last year and a half. But I try, at least for Demasked, I try to make it somewhat about what's being discussed in this interview, but removing all context if you were to just look at the photo.
Well, that's ideal, because that gets people interested. What's this guy talking about?
Why is there a small voodoo Fresman in a jar on a desk?
Exactly. Get the people wondering. Hold on. Let me go look at your thumbnails.
And I think what I've started doing recently is making them look more like clickbait, but it's a dumb question that does not get answered in.
I like the does he know? That actually does draw the eye very well. And the most recent one too. Good composition.
So I made the one for Frog Archist. I did not make the one for Something Sinister. He actually sent me that one himself. He made that.
It's a good template to study from. I'm always like, I don't know about you, because I'm like crazy about this stuff. I'm always screenshotting like cool thumbnails. Like anytime I see something that catches my eye, I don't care what it is, screenshot it, save it, look at it later, see what they did, try and study what that guy did right. This has amazingly not impacted my thumbnails at all. They literally have looked the same since day one. But like, I like to think I'm studying.
Yeah, I just I try to make something ridiculous that is eye-catching, but I don't want to put guess who I talked to. It's like, what is that about? What does that mean?
When I started out, I was binge watching all these videos, because there's like a whole cottage industry of people telling like new YouTubers what to do, and I don't want to be super cynical, but I think a lot of them give out garbage advice, like truly. But I was watching a lot of these videos about how to put thumbnail together, and the only one that like ever actually gave good advice was just, you can't focus on any one thing. Your thumbnail is holistic. You got to have a little text in there, you got to have a little image in there, and you got to have a title. But they can't all say the same thing. It's got to be, you look at that, and in that first nanosecond, you make the judgment, oh, this is the context, this is the cool concept. I don't want to be spoiled for it. I like what I see. And then you click on it, and then you read about, what's this? Can you beat the library in one life, melee only, with tears in your eyes? What game is that? I get the Melee reference, but what's the rest of it?
It's for, Halo.
Oh yeah, I don't know. That was a boy game. I did not know anything about that as a kid.
The Frog Archist does a lot of like Halo challenge runs.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to, like, what would be the most infuriating thing that, like, if I presented it to him, I would just get a flat no.
That's a good question. That's also a great way to open your videos, FYI. If you ask, like, the stupidest question possible, it gets people emotionally invested. Because they get angry, because they're like, what do you mean?
I do that consistently, and unfortunately it started to bleed into, like, how I interact with people outside of this channel.
Oh, 100%. I do this in real life all the time.
Well, the first time I ever did it, and I believe I did it well, was interviewing David Howard Thornton.
From Terrifier?
Correct.
How did that
I've interviewed
happen?
Art the Clown.
Wait. Wait, have you seen my animation? Because I actually worked on Terrifier too.
Really?
Yeah, no. Let me find you. I have in Terrifier 2, there's like this sequence where the girl falls asleep as she's watching her TV, and there's like a cartoon that comes on right as her eyes are shutting with like a nun in a zombie church. I actually did this sequence here. I'll send you the link. So funny you bring up Terrifier. Anyway, tell me about this interview. So how did you get him on?
So it's one of those things where it was way easier than I thought it would ever be. Like, I was worried, for some YouTubers, you have to, like, go through a talent agency, talk to their manager, and all this. I just messaged him on Twitter. That was it.
Wow. That's such
hey,
a
man,
crazy
big fan
feature.
of your work. Yeah. It was over 6 years ago, back in 2019. Actually, the third interview I ever had on the show. But I I hate being a fanboy, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, like, I'm a huge fan of Art the Clown. I'm a huge fan of the Terrifier movies, but I don't want to be that guy where it's just like, oh my god, I'm such a huge fan, and then that's all we talk about. And so my thought was, what is the dumbest question I could ever ask this actor who has been in one of the more popular horror films as of late? And I went to his IMDb page and found a game that he was in 2008 called Invisimals. And that was the first question. It was, welcome to Demasked. My name's Fresman. How are you, Mr. Thornton? What was it like working on Invisimals?
I think that's great. You don't know what's under there. You don't know if he's got like some awful memory attached to this thing. You could have set off a bomb as far as you were concerned. I think that's a great question.
Well, I was like, the anxiety was getting to me because I was worried that he was going to be like, oh, fuck this, and like leave. But, well, the thing is, it started to bleed outside of this channel because I was at a horror convention recently, a cult classic convention, and I ran into some of the actors from Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Great film.
Right?
Excellent film. Very enjoyable.
I'm not gonna lie, I faltered a little bit. I geeked out because I got to meet the actor who played Dale, the heavyset gentleman. I can't remember his name at the moment.
I feel like he's like the same guy in person. Is he?
He wonderful, absolute sweetheart.
He just struck me as portraying himself.
I also got to meet, I believe his name is Jesse Moss. He played the villain.
Mm-hmm.
Like the main kind of dude bro college douche. And I noticed that people were talking to the other actors, but nobody kind of was going over to his table. And I'm like, I need to talk to this guy because I'm a fan of his work. I also want to ask him the dumbest thing I can possibly think of. And
No,
so
I
I
think
go,
that's
hey,
great.
man. And I quickly looked him up on IMDb while we were like kind of off to the side. Me and my partner walk up and I go, hey, man, huge fan of your work. What was it like working on Dino Trucks? And thankfully he just goes, holy shit.
Can you imagine if someone came up to you and asked you a question about like your least viewed video and they had some kind of encyclopedic knowledge of it? Like, you would also be a little bit gagged.
I want you to know that's actually kind of my greatest fear with my channel. Well, because
It's a legitimate fear, for sure. But it would be a funny question.
Well, because I don't put my face or my actual name out there at all. And so if somebody were to walk up to me and go, how's it going, Fresman? I would probably have a heart attack.
Well, that would be very frightening. Yeah, no. You're saying, like, if a guy walked up to you on the street, just like a total stranger, hello, guy from the YouTube channel who never shows his face, and then, like, a bus passes and he, like, disappears.
How's it going, host of Demasked?
You'll get there one day, but hopefully it won't be, like, terrifying.
I hope that... I hope I'm careful enough in keeping my face and identity a secret that it does not occur.
I sympathize 1,000,000,000%. There are obviously a lot of risks associated with attaching your name and your face to whatever you put out on the internet, especially if it's the mildest bit controversial. Obviously, I do not have this problem because I don't actually, like, appear on camera when I talk about furries and poop and like awful examples of human behavior. So I'm fine, but like, you should be careful.
It's gonna be one of those situations where it's like somebody read the sun glinting off my mask and then somehow
they like
figured out
triangulated it. Oh my god, that's the guy from YouTube.
You look like you wear a hockey mask on the internet.
Listen, the things that people are able to deduce from like the tiniest piece of information online is crazy. Don't you remember, like, back in the day, there was that whole, the 4chan thing with Shia LaBeouf and the flag?
Yep. The he will not divide us scandal.
Yes,
yep.
he will not divide us, and he, like, on his third or fourth attempt, he just had, like, a stream of the flag, like, in a room, and there was, like, a fly on the wall, and somehow they found out where it was from, like, the fly. Like, something like that.
If I remember, it was a blank wall, but the sun was coming through... The sun was shining through the window at a very specific angle, and they were able to figure out what time of day and what area would be experiencing that time of day.
I know it's malicious, but it's so funny that I don't even feel bad for laughing, because I'm not sure anything that funny is ever going to happen again. They really tormented this guy for no reason at all. And they just kept doing it.
Well, I think that the most baffling version is the version before that, where it was a flag in a field with a camera pointed up.
Yes.
And it wasn't...
They watched, like, the cloud pattern or something.
Yeah, it was cloud patterns and planes passing over.
I actually acutely, like, I remember one time really early on, I wanted to post, like, a picture or something from my balcony. And I already had, like, a small following at this point, but even then, I had this, like, extreme moment of self-awareness, and I was like, oh my god, wait a minute. Anyone can figure out where you live from how little of the background is visible in this picture. You can't post anything again. I didn't end up posting it to begin with, but, yeah, no, crazier things have happened.
I was recently watching a video on somebody, like, upgrading their PC, and they're like, oh, okay, we're moving stuff into the house. And they completely blurred out whatever was outside, so it looks like they're walking in from heaven itself.
Well, people are crazy, that's the thing. Like, as much as I don't want to believe it, people are absolutely insane. Online. Yeah. Where all the inhibitions get unleashed. But also, like, there is some kind of level of pathology to it. Like, a lot of people struggle, I feel, with... And I don't even know if they can, like, admit this to themselves. I feel like a lot of people are very, very lonely, and they genuinely do not understand when they start to blur the line between this is a person who I watch on YouTube or TikTok or whatever every day versus this is someone I know. When you learn that much about another person and you spend that much time with them, even if it's completely asymmetrical, like, even if you're not a creep about it, even if you just kind of feel in the back of your head, like, oh, we're friends, I don't think that's good for you. I don't think it's good that it's gotten that way. I understand that obviously, like, these YouTube careers survive in some part because of the existence of these parasocial relationships, but it does worry me. Because anyone who likes you that much can also dislike you just as much. It's frightening.
Well, even then, like, on the flip side of that weird sense of entitlement that certain, like, mega fans have, where it's like
that's like very antisocial behavior. There's this one image that gets reposted all the time. It's just Billie Eilish just like posting a picture from her car, like a completely normal picture, and then all the comments are like, Billie, acknowledge us. Billie, your fandom is dying. And it, like, anytime someone says something delusional on Twitter, they just post that picture underneath. But it is. I do think it's a little bit crazy. I have a lot of sympathy for these, like, mega famous people who, for whatever reason, are still reading their comments sometimes. Because, yeah, at that point, people must think they know them and they must feel owed. It's crazy. I think it's just really bad for, like, the collective human psyche. It's not good that we're all doing this.
Well, that, and there's that weird, whenever you see, like, news of some celebrity getting pregnant or married, and they're like, how dare they? How dare they do that?
It's supposed to be... Isn't that, like, a whole thing in the idol industry? Like, you have to be completely tight-lipped about any relationships you have because the whole subtext is, like, these girls are selling some kind of relationship with the fans.
Or there's some implied, like, the term I want to use is cure for loneliness, but I don't believe that's the apt metaphor.
I mean, look, I know what you're driving at.
I hope that doesn't happen with my channel at all.
Only good things. Only good things will happen to your channel. I think you'll be just fine.
Thank you. You heard it here, folks. My never mind, I'm not putting that out in the universe.
Don't jinx yourself. Whatever it was, don't say
it. I will say 2 words.
Okay.
Stalker tryouts.
That's frightening concept, but good luck with that. Have fun.
Sorry, my partner's staring at me from across the house.
Are they aware that pregnant gay Luigi lore is being discussed as we speak? Just kidding. You already missed that part.
Don't worry, hon. We're trying out. We're discussing gay Luigi impreg. Love you. All I could hear for a good minute there was them just going, "What the fuck?" from across the house.
Listen, we're talking about some important controversial stuff. You're gonna get reactions. Don't pay any attention.
I'm covering the news.
Literally, we're covering the news. Luigi could be getting pregnant tomorrow. Someone's gonna have to break the news. It's okay, I'll be here.
Somebody has to tell Mario.
I got so much flack for saying Mario. Because here's the thing. I have another video, like an early one, and it's like the Mario Sonic makeout gif and where it came from. And I made a concerted effort to say Mario, but that's not natural for me. I grew up saying Mario. I grew up around a bunch of people who only ever said Mario. Not to mention, I grew up around, like, a lot of Italians, so there were the occasional guys named Mario, and they just said Mario. And I thought that was normal. And then I said it in my video, and I got eaten alive. As if pronouncing it Mario is, like, more offensive than the Luigi pregnancy incest thing. I never understand why people draw the line where they do.
I also want you to know that I've been given a note by my partner / producer that specifically don't recite the old text to me. I was there when they were written.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Wait. Now, have any of the videos that you've made thus far, what's the worst, like, rabbit hole you've fallen down of the ones that have come out?
Of the ones that have come out, let me think. I think the zoomorph one for sure. There was a lot more going on there. I was kind of, first of all, I made it in a rush, which is why the audio sucks. Sorry. But also, there were parts of this video that I had written that I cut out just for brevity's sake. And I was also worried that if I started getting into all sorts of different topics, like, people's attention would wane. I have trouble staying on topic sometimes in the videos. Mm-hmm. But with zoomorph specifically, yeah, there's a lot more going on in relation to this. But it's just like, it's an overwhelming amount of things to look at. To put it in a nutshell, because this type of artwork that I was talking about in the video is, like, so dated, it belongs to, like, a specific era. It's still being made, but a lot of it, the bulk of it, was made during a specific era of DeviantArt. And those people didn't go anywhere. You know, they're not active, but, like, they didn't delete their accounts. Their work is still up. And it's like, once you start actually trying to look at all of it and see how much of it there is, you find all sorts of just bizarre fetish subcategories. Like, every permutation on this idea is just sitting there, like, just gathering dust. These illustrations, these photomorphs from, like, 2009, 2012. There's just a lot more to get into, and I was actually, like, I found it disturbing. I guess there's certain... I'm not, like, a stranger to body horror. You know, I watch a lot of horror movies. Like, that kind of stuff is just visually interesting. But it gets to a point. It gets to a point where it really starts to just bother you. And I guess what I'm really trying to say is the biggest rabbit hole was with zoomorphs, because the amount of images that I saw on my quest to actually, like, articulate what this thing was, a lot of them really, really bothered me, to be honest. I don't like looking at images all day of people photoshopping women to look just slightly strange. It's sinister. It's scarier than, like, other explicitly sexual stuff, you know? There's something very psychological about it. It's frightening. I don't want to glimpse into other people's minds that way.
Like, did it reach a point where you're like, God, I wish this was just normal, like, nefarious BS, not just...
I guess where I have like, I understand in theory why people develop these interests and what it is that they're actually experiencing through this thing that looks so alien to us. Like, to put it really concisely, a lot of inflation art, like, it's funny, it's inflation. It's like, oh, that's not sexual. That's, like, whatever. But there is a psychological underpinning to it. And to make a really long story short, a lot of this inflation stuff comes back to humiliation, because it's humiliating to be disfigured. It's humiliating to be unable to take care of yourself properly and to be put on display that way. That's kind of like the psychological substrate with a lot of inflation. But
I hate that I can almost hear one of these, like, posts / videos in my head of just like, oh no. You know?
It's the oh no. It is the oh no. That's exactly it. And, like, so what I'm saying is, if you break it down to that, like, molecular level, I understand, even if I can't, like, get off to it, I understand what that person is seeing. However, there are some things that, try as I might to, like, put words to the idea, I cannot understand. And with the zoomorph stuff, so much of this fetish art, not a majority of it, but there's certainly a lot. It's like the thing that the people are getting off to is these absurd, like humiliating, disfiguring, just like women being humiliated and in pain. And it's like, I don't know if I'm right every time, but sometimes you like look at the things that these people are making, or like you read the captions, because a lot of it is like storytelling. Like a lot of it's literally the caption in the image. That's like the whole fetish piece. You read these things and they're just disturbing. Like, I don't want to be around someone who is sexually interested in like the worst thing you've ever heard in your life. Like, I'm actually frightened of these things. And I try to kind of have like, you know, I try to keep everything at arm's length, because I'm not here to judge any of it. I'm just here to like report on it. But it's hard not to be disturbed sometimes.
Yeah, as I say, there's only so far you can get at that point.
I like the stuff that's funny. That's for me personally. Like the 4chan tile fucker, there's something very even though it's like an unsubtle premise, there's something about the storytelling in that green text. It's just like perfect. It's subtle. It's horrifying in a way that takes you about 45 additional minutes to truly understand. I like that stuff. That's hilarious.
So the thing specifically with the tile fucker thing, the wording that the original poster uses is baffling, but it helps you understand it better. It's like, what about this tile? It's like, no, it's not clean.
Well, he spells it all out. He really does spell it all out. If you, like, to me, it was obvious immediately, and I wasn't even looking for it necessarily. I'm telling you, if you read that green text, like, by yourself for the first time, no previous context, you can still immediately see what ideas he's, like, actually grasping at.
I don't know if I want to fall down that rabbit hole.
No, I'm not suggesting you do. I'm saying like if you were like in a hostage situation and the only way to get out was to read this fucking green text, you know, hypothetically.
I have this weird relationship with cringe that I believe leads me down terrible paths, and it's where I'll discover something horrible, but instead of like, oh, that's weird, and then back away, my brain's like, great, now we have to get to the very bottom of what this is. I need to understand it in its totality.
Cringe is morbidly fascinating, and I love cringe. I don't like laughing at people. It makes me feel horrible. I get no entertainment from it whatsoever. But I think we all inherently understand the appeal of cringe. The release valve of like, okay, yeah, like I'm embarrassing and cringe and stupid, but I could be this. Look at the logical extreme of that. Look at what this person got up to. I think it's like a psychological, it just like relieves the pressure on yourself a little bit, because if you're very online, you're aware that you're constantly being monitored. I think our obsession with cringe stems from the fact that we are now perfectly aware of how many sets of eyes are on us at all times, because we live in this panopticon of like social media, and I just don't think the human mind was designed to put up with all of this. This level of self-awareness and self-consciousness is really bad for you, I think. I think cringe like has to exist on the internet as some kind of emotional release, because I think we quite literally like rely on this to kind of feel normal after the experience of doom scrolling for 7 hours straight.
Well, that and like people's interpretation of what is and isn't cringe, of course, while being subjective,
it's very revealing.
I feel, yeah, and even then, like the things that like, I guess the term would be like things that give people the ick can be so minuscule. Oh, I saw a guy tying his shoes. Ew.
You know, the good news about that is I see these posts every now and then on Twitter where it's like, ooh, look at this guy, the way he tied his shoe, like just some surreptitious picture someone took. And it's very nice to see that literally not once is anyone ever on the side of the person that posted that, because that's psychotic. that is beyond antisocial. That's not the kind of cringe that I think the average person is worried about. The kind of cringe that we're worried about is, I think, the ones that, you know, the cringe compilations of yesteryear. I remember them so well.
Well, have you seen that person that's collecting like a list of icks from, I think it's like TikTok and Instagram?
No, I haven't.
They have like a notes app list, and it's up to like 150 or something, but it's anytime somebody posts like new ick unlocked, and it has to like do with their partner or seeing like somebody do something completely innocuous. Mm-hmm. It's like, oh, my partner drinks coffee, new ick unlocked, and then they add to the list, can't drink coffee.
That's so funny. I do think this thing that people do where they like tell on their spouse or whatever, like, oh, my boyfriend, my wife, my this, my that, does this thing that I don't like. Hey, hundreds of thousands of people, find out all about it. I don't know how... I have no idea how anyone has done this more than once. I have no idea how these videos are still getting made. Like, are you crazy? You're telling on your... You're telling everyone in the world that your boyfriend's back hair gave you the ick? Are you nuts? But, like, yeah, I actually think that is a legitimate thing to live in fear of. Imagine being in a scenario where, like, your sense of intimacy and being away from other people is shattered because someone shared some completely innocuous thing about you to the internet, but the framing is, this is disgusting. Cringe is dangerous sometimes, I think.
Yeah. And then, like, it becomes, like, say that gets shared not only on a semi-anonymous platform, Instagram, Tumblr, 4chan, but then you get like the people that post this kind of shit on Facebook about their partners, and suddenly it's like, oh, well, you know, Derek has back hair, ew, and then becomes some weird social pariah.
I have hope that the Facebook snitchery, even though it's evil and shouldn't be done, will at least die out. What I worry about is people whose like lows or cringe moments or other people saying awful things about them, they just get preserved. Because not only did 2 million people see it in the form of a TikTok, but it's just on the internet, never to leave. People have to really understand like how permanent everything they say is now. Everyone's keeping a record of everything. Like, I think our cringe obsession actually makes a lot of sense because of things like this.
Well, that, and I think what at least helps some of it is understanding why. Like the tile fucker thing. Like, while it is strange and outlandish, at least he gives a concise answer as to why he is the way he is. Like take the I don't know the character's name. The one on the Goon Apocalypse thumbnail.
Yeah, the Animal Crossing character.
You know, like putting aside the nightmare that is that animation, if the artist was contacted and they're like, somebody asked, why did you make this? And they just, in a simple sentence, was like, I was paid so much fucking money to make this. Like, all right, fine.
Oh, you're saying like if it's monetized, it's not as cringe? Like, if you're being cringe for the love of the game, it's different?
Or if you can, if I believe it alleviates some cringe. While, don't get me wrong, the product of what has been created is in itself cringe. But if I can at least understand the reasoning behind the artist's creation of the work.
Cringe is really, really interesting because it's impossible to deem something cringe without revealing very obviously your view of things. Like, when you call something embarrassing, like, if you call something stupid, you call something embarrassing, you know, we're safe to assume, okay, the inverse of that would be approved then. Which is, like, you know, we had this whole referendum on what is cringe culture anyway a few years ago, because, like, if you remember, back in 2015, 2016, when the anti-SJW thing was, like, at the peak, or had just passed it, all of the cringe compilations like, yeah, there were people being weird and, you know, being socially inappropriate, but like half of these compilations were just like kids with green hair and pronouns. The cringe, being able to label it cringe gave away quite a lot of your viewpoint. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then a few years ago, you know, the video essay started to hit about why we did all this and what does it mean and what is the political underpinning under cringe. That's like a whole thing. I'm not really qualified to answer it, but I do agree with that premise. Cringe is it. I don't think there's anything. There's no such thing as an apolitical disgust response. Cringe is some kind of internet immune response. We cringe to signal to others that we're protecting ourselves from this thing, whatever it is. I'm just like talking myself into a total rabbit hole right now. I have to actually look into this. I need to make a video about cringe. It's a very interesting topic.
Well, the question becomes, like, in the form of, you know, video essays, like ones on your channel or ones that are discussed by similar channels. Off the top of my head, Turkey Tom, Jobbery, Right Opinion, you know, people who discuss things that are considered to be incorrect or off-putting or by their own standard. How long do you think it will be until somebody comes around that starts observing those channels and starts making essays on them, and it becomes sort of a snake eating its own tail?
You know, I don't think this has happened in full force. And I try not to watch video essays like about other YouTubers because it just freaks me out. Mm-hmm. I don't know, something about just like, if you know the person that's being dragged in the video, it's such a viscerally uncomfortable experience. It's just so negative. But so what I'm saying is I haven't seen these videos myself, but I do know that there are like channels whose entire shtick is just reporting on the crimes, so-called, of other YouTubers, or like YouTubers they find problematic or people they don't like. You know, to each their own. It's not really to my taste. I don't find that making hit pieces on YouTubers or like certain types of content, unless it's like genuinely demonstrating real world harm, and I think a lot of us are very online and we want to pretend it is when it's not. But yeah, the snake eating its own tail, I don't think this has blown up in the way that it could yet, but that certainly exists. There are definitely people whose entire thing is, I am the YouTuber who comments on the previous YouTube trends and the previous waves of types of YouTubers that existed in the past, and like why the conditions were such that videos like this existed. For sure.
Now,
if someone ever writes a video essay on me, by the way, please don't. That's my message to you. If you want to do it, please don't do it. Please.
Gonna go ahead and scribble out my notes here.
All right. You're too kind.
Gonna delete my 30-page Word document.
There go the other 30 questions from the audience.
I can see the thumbnail now. Frankie Fey was mean to me during our interview.
I like how non-specific that is. She was mean. Nothing else. And then you don't even, you know what you should do? You should actually just make the title of the video, Frankie Fey was mean to me. Never acknowledge it. Just like upload this podcast audio and then just call it a day. I actually think that would be hilarious.
You know what? Shit, I gotta write that down. That's,
if you want, you gotta actually figure out, that might not get the click that you need, but I think it would be very funny.
So, well, I'm thinking like I'll make like another clickbait thumbnail, and then like,
yeah, just make my face
like,
angry.
But like squish the eyebrows down.
Yeah. Frankie Fey was mean to me, and she said she's putting me in her video. I hope to one day have such a level of success on here that I can simply tweet at someone, I'm gonna make a video about you, and they'll just shit their pants. Which I know contradicts what I said literally a minute ago, but my thing would be different. It would be my style of video. It would be the freaky story of the guy with the furry and the this and the that, you know? It would have some educational value.
I can see the headline now. Frankie Fey called me cringe.
I am the cringe. I am truly the most cringe person I ever met. I used to actually have such an issue with cringe. I had like this inappropriate kind of, I had like other anxiety things going on, and I couldn't identify what the issue was. But I just remember I had so many years of my life where I would acutely just cringe at myself, like inappropriately. Like anytime I finished a conversation or got off the phone or did anything, I would just squeeze my eyes shut and go, ugh, like in my head. But I think it's, again, this social media induced anxiety, this sense that you're not crazy. You are actually supposed to be hypervigilant because everything you say is permanent and everyone's looking at everyone else. Yeah, no, I won't put you in my cringe compilation. I promise.
Then watch tomorrow. I see a thumbnail. It's like the strange world of masked men on the internet.
It's so funny because it takes me like 30 years to make a video. The idea that I would have this tomorrow and it would be like 15 minutes long is actually hilarious. I'm actually quite burnt out, so my next video won't be coming. It'll be coming a little later than usual. I'll pick back up. But that would be so funny. If I, like, dropped everything to make fun of this random guy.
I get, like, an @ from you on Discord. Just, hey, I made this.
Hey, I made a bit. It's just, like, the most slanderous shit you've ever seen.
Why are you doing this to me? Because fuck you, that's why.
I'm actually very nice. You know, I'm very nice. I'm a very sensitive lady. I don't like... you know, like, I really go out of my way to try and be as impartial as I possibly can in the videos, because it would be easy and wrong to just point your finger and laugh. And you can't please everyone. I do get comments every now and then, and this just... I don't really read my comments anymore, but this used to make me nuts. I would get comments saying, oh my god, you obviously hate furries. You're obviously just trying to make fun of us. You're kink shaming. You're this, you're that. And it's like, I really, you know, I do make jokes, but I make an effort to be as balanced and, to the extent where it's appropriate, as compassionate as possible. Because, like, I don't understand the value of making a video where it's like, hey, look at furries. Aren't they weird? What do you get from that? What does anybody get from that? We're not having a discussion. We're not learning anything new. I'm simply reifying some half-baked idea that you might have had based on a rumor maybe you heard on the internet somewhere about the scary furry. I try to, you know what I'm saying? Like, I understand cringe, and I like looking at cringe, and, you know, I like feeling a little better about myself every now and then when I see someone behaving ridiculously online, as we all do. But honestly, nothing would be more unpleasant to me than like making an intentionally hurtful video and just like zeroing in on someone and anyone who's into that thing and being mean. That's never my goal. Never.
I see the thumbnail now. I hate masked
except for you. I hate this guy.
I hate you and the bands you like. Hey, Frankie, I think you're making fun of me. I am, but that's not the point.
You know, I say things like that, but I don't mean it. That's like a sentence I would say, you know what I mean? But the making fun thing, that, I don't know. I think I definitely used to be much meaner, like in previous years. But something about being so on the internet in such a condensed period of time has really just burnt me out. I have no impulse left to laugh at anything or point at anything. I just don't see the value in making fun of things. I really don't. Makes you sound sophisticated. You sound like the most sophisticated guy in the room when you announce that you don't like something. But is it true? Is it real? Is that really what you think?
Well, like, I actually just recently had a discussion about this where I used to be, when I was younger, I was a much angrier person, much quicker to, like, judgment and anger. Mm-hmm. And I've kind of sidestepped that as the years have gone on by doing research onto why I dislike something. So I'm not just sitting there like, this thing sucks, I hate it. and that's it. It's okay. I dislike this thing, and here is a detailed list as the minutia of what I hate.
So I'm of two minds about that. I saw a tweet recently that actually really reframed how I thought about it, which was you don't actually need a good reason to dislike something. But the context was like, I don't was it Sabrina Carpenter? I don't know. It was like the girl of the week, and since any girl who becomes the girl of the week is the girl that everyone decides they hate suddenly. It's like a rite of passage for famous women. I don't know. So it was
whichever Sydney Sweeney, whatever.
Yes. Yeah, just pointless, just anger for the sake of anger. But someone made some shady tweet or something, and someone replied like, you can just like dislike her. Like, you don't need a good reason. You don't need a politically salient reason to write her off. You can just dislike something. At the same time though, like on the other side, I do think that if you're going to loudly make a show about how much you dislike something, you better have like a good reason. If you're going to bring that much attention to it, don't just do it because you're being, you're cynical and you want to show off how Rick and Morty 600 billion IQ you are. Have a reason, I don't like cynicism for cynicism's sake. I'm actually not a fan of cynicism whatsoever.
Well, like the way it's the reason I kind of deconstruct the things that I dislike isn't more so that I can grandstand and stand on the mountain like that thing sucks and here's why you should all hate it. It's all right, I don't like this thing, but I wish I knew why I don't like this thing. And then I can kind of get on the other side of it. Like, sure, I don't like it. It's not my thing. I guess I'll just stop engaging.
It's hard to stop engaging. It's addictive to be angry. I had a period, like, relatively recently where I had, I'm an adult, so I should really be dealing with it a little bit better, but I had a lot of just life stressors coinciding at the same time, and I just couldn't deal with anything. And I didn't realize at the time how reactive I was to everything because of this background stress. And I was like looking at just things that I texted or like things that I'd said even in previous months, and I thought like, oh my God, why was I so angry? You can hear how just angry I was. I was constantly like just snapping, and it's not even in my personality to do that. And I felt this confusion, like I need to understand this. I need to understand where this distaste was all coming from, because like I don't recognize this person. I don't want to be this angry person. And I don't want to be around angry people myself.
Like I've hit this point in my life where like if I get mad, it's like not even a person, but at like something, I just get tired. Like there's no like this movie sucks and I hate it. I'm like, that movie sucks and now I'm tired.
But that's probably better, right? It's probably like anger is better than sadness in that anger at least animates you. You know, you can do something when you're angry. When you're sad, you're kind of like inert. You lay flat. But like, yeah, if you're angry and it animates you and that's the only thing that winds you up, you got to be angry just to like get through your day. Being tired might be the better option. Yeah,
well, that night, part of me thinks that like it's some weird like bodily response, like a defense mechanism of like, we're just gonna shut down like half the engines running this thing. Let's just.
But that's good. It's good to know when to step away. Twitter definitely. I'm never calling it X for the record. Twitter definitely made me angrier, and it was kind of. It was very humbling. It was very embarrassing because like I could see like just scrolling through my own page, like I could see where I was getting snarky, and for what? Being angry is lame. Don't be angry. That's the lesson.
Or if you're gonna be, at least
have a good reason. Like do something good with it. You know.
Yeah. Focus it into something productive.
Like. This is the lamest, most Gen Z thing I could possibly say. When I get, like, angry, I play Fortnite. It just gets it out of my system. And I'm also ass at Fortnite, so like it's a good way to get the anger out because at least then I know I'm angry for a reason because I suck at this game. But it works.
Or what was that meme? It's like me pissed off on the way home to play a game I know is gonna make me a million.
Yeah, the game I know is gonna make me even more mad. Literally that.
Okay, so unfortunately there's video evidence of it on my channel of that exact thing.
You getting mad at Fortnite?
No, not at Fortnite. So I decided to do a legendary run of Halo Reach.
Mm-hmm.
And I was doing like a section of the game a day. Like I would stream for like 6 hours, just throwing myself at the wall to see how far I could get. And day 2, I don't know what happened. I can't remember why. I was just in a bad mood, like a bad place. And that is probably the most upset I've ever gotten at a video game.
Wow.
And I believe, at least personally, that shame is a fantastic motivator. And so I've kept those videos up as a testament to my shame.
Life will humble you, right? Like, but sometimes you gotta humble yourself. I think it's very strong of you to keep it up. You have that thing just like constantly hanging over you to remind you to behave.
It's just every once in a while I'll look over and it's literally just like, oh, it's a Halo Reach run, day 2, variety/chill stream. Like, there's fucking nothing chill about that stream.
Yeah, but that's good. You're subverting viewer expectations. People love that.
I just remember, like, I don't remember what I said, but I just remember just, like, a lot of, like, God damn it!
You know, I kind of have that in the form of my earliest videos. I still think these are my early videos because the channel's not that old. Like, the timeline's kind of weird, but it's painful to have things that make you, like, in my case, it's cringe. It's not anger, but it's, like, kind of the same idea. It's painful to have this constant living reminder of a time relatively recently where you were just acting like an idiot or whatever that means to you. Like, these videos, they make me cringe, and I mean cringe. Like, they're bad, but I can't take them down.
The cringe.
No, literally. Oh no, what's the meme? What's that little animal from Madagascar? Mort. You know that video where he's like, oh no, cringe. It's yeah. I hear that a lot. My sister says that to me every single day. Actually, it's her favorite vocal stem.
I get the Spanish version. Oh no, cringe.
Cringe. It's amazing. Oh my god, they have all the countries. I didn't realize. I just looked it up.
Oh no. There you go, free video idea right there.
You know, also, I think people are just beyond done with cringe. I really think they are. And my evidence for this, genuinely, is that, like, meme template where it's like, I may be cringe, but you're mean, and that's worse. Like, I know it's just whatever, meme, haha, but I think there is really a grain of truth. I think everyone is just waiting for us to be ready to stop holding our breath and not be so terrified of cringe. It might also be my personality. Like, I'm trying to speak for a lot of people, but I really am just telling you how I feel.
I think what might be in looking back in all the cringy BS of, you know, middle school, high school, there's a photo that I feel has, like, lifted that weight off my shoulders of, like, being cringe. And it's the goat standing in the sunlight with his eyes closed, and it just says, I am cringe, but I am free.
Yeah. I don't know. I honestly, I really, like, I try not to talk about it because I know you're not supposed to call attention to the thing. That's something I struggle with. I'm very unsubtle.
Uh-huh.
But I do struggle with cringe. I really do. It actually informs a lot of my behavior, which is funny, because you would think for someone who overshares on the internet so much, I would have learned my fucking lesson by now. Because I allege that I'm so scared of cringe. The truth is I like to shitpost. But I actually... I feel like I'm getting too old for it now. You know, I'm 27. I shouldn't be this obsessed with cringe. That's like a very early 20s concern to have. And yet... I am completely possessed by this thing, and I actually evaluate all of my internet behavior through the lens of, is this cringe? And it's not good, and it's not on purpose. And like I'm describing myself, but I feel like I speak for a lot of people right now. I feel like a lot of us struggle with this.
Yeah.
And I don't have the answer. I think the answer might be actually to be more cringe. Seriously. Like if you double down, people have to respect it.
So it's funny you mention that, because even in like outside of YouTube, I have that sort of same, what's the word I'm looking for? I have this I hesitate to say cringe detector, but it's like self-analyzing and hoping I'm not being too weird.
Yeah.
And I actually had a moment recently where I was very thankfully able to let go, to shed that. And okay, hear me out. It's not terrible, but I recently went with a buddy of mine to go see the 20th anniversary of Star Wars Episode 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
But to celebrate, I'm closing in on 30 right now, and my buddy is about 10 years older than me. But I brought these. I collect like figures and small things around my house, but I have these. Do you remember those toy lightsabers that like collapse all the way down into the hilt?
Oh, I never had one, but I saw like some boys at my school. They would like slide them secret out of their backpack at recess. I've seen them before.
Right. So I found a couple of those because I lost them, like due to having my parents like throw them away, sort of thing. But I've purchased I've purchased a few, and I have them on my shelf. I'm staring at them at the moment. But I thought it would be an amazing idea to bring them to the theater. And they have little belt clips, so I'm like, you know what? Me and my buddy are going to have them on our belts when we walk in. And there's a moment where, like, I got out of his car, I hooked it onto my belt, and I'm like, I look like a fucking goober right now. And the secondary thought hit me of, like, what better place to do that than right here and right now?
Exactly.
And
exactly.
I will say, for some resolution for the party people at home, me and my buddy walked in there like we owned the fucking place.
And I'm sure no one even looked twice. Not to mention, if you're going to try a risky outfit, a movie theater is probably ideal because it's dark 99% of the time you're in there. You made a very good calculated move.
What was that line? The risk I took was calculated, but man, am I bad at math. But no, I think as time wears on, not only in the terms of self-acceptance, but I think you're more accepting of yourself as time wears on.
You have to be. You have to live the rest of your life with yourself. I think at some point in your late 20s, like dead ass, because I think I'm getting there, your mind just breaks. Okay, whoever this is, I just got to live with this for right now. I got more important things to do. I got bills to pay.
Yeah. and I say that full-chested as a masked man on the internet.
Listen. It's okay. It's cringe to be cringe, but it's genuinely even worse to just be like a miserable piece of shit who makes fun of people for being cringe. That's 10 toes down. I believe that.
Or or worse yet, to repress that weirdness within
Yeah,
you.
don't even repressing your cringe. Are you crazy? You could die tomorrow. Don't do that. Unleash the cringe. Make people regret ever having met you. And then you'll feel really good.
Destroy your social encounters.
Yeah, on the off chance that you blow up tomorrow. Like, why not?
You know what? You know what? Send that inflation porn to your boss. You'll never know. You never know.
My sis... Oh. Okay, not my sister. Someone who looks like my sister in high school once lost her babysitting job because I mean, I think this is a little bit of an overreaction, but she accidentally sent the mom a very odd but not sexual picture of Shadow the Hedgehog because she had it like in her clipboard and she texted it to her instead of some other thing, like some picture of her child. And that was the end of that job. So do it. Send the inflation to your boss. You know, it might turn out different. It might turn out like way better than that.
You might get a promotion. Who knows?
Yeah, they might give you the company. Like, you don't know until you try.
When you sit down across the desk from your boss and they look you in the eye and they're like, "You've got a Miku binder too, huh?"
They take off their shirt to reveal the Miku binder beneath. That video was fun, actually. That was probably like the most fun I ever had because I knew nothing about that going into it, which is rarely the case. That was really fun to actually learn a whole new awful thing start to finish. It's not even awful. That one was just great.
What things will I legitimately had the thought of like, what do I tell my coworker tomorrow?
You gotta tell him about Luigi facts. You gotta slow boil him. You gotta start out like weirdly introducing Luigi into the conversation at least a few times, then you just hit him with the, by the way, pregnancy.
Do you know Luigi was pregnant at one point? Like, pretend it was part of the canon?
What'd you say?
Oh, just like lean in, like, hey, you know, did you know Luigi was pregnant at one point?
Yeah,
and
that
just act
yeah.
like it was.
Yeah, you gotta be like, Luigi's pregnant. What? What Luigi? You know, that Luigi from Mario.
Miyamoto said it.
Amazing. Amazing internet we have. I wouldn't want it any other way, really.
Well, my immediate thought was like, what if I just... I'm going to send him a link to the furry grater video on your channel.
Oh, yeah. I do not... You know, I wish I had another opportunity to make that video. I would do it much better.
I mean, nothing's stopping you.
My conscience. My conscience is stopping me. I know. You know, the only thing worse than one of those videos would be two.
The sequel, I found more.
Not even I found more. Here it is in just like slightly higher def. Like, here's just me doing a slightly better job of reading my lines. Same video. You learned nothing new. I've wasted your time.
Surprise.
Man, like, I don't know, sometimes you waste a topic. Like, the second video I ever made, the Chicago Industrial Workers Union, and they had, like, the fat furry art, and people were sharing it on Facebook, and it turns out they, like, knew that it was furry art. That was such a juicy one, and I wasted it on a second video. I was not even remotely equipped to talk about it. Like, not as much as I am now. I might actually remake that one. It was just too good. It was too good of a topic.
Yeah, see, there's always room for improvement, man. Come on.
You can't improve these videos. They're as bad as they can. There's really... I don't even know what improving them would look like. It would probably be like just talking about a completely different topic forever. I try not to think about it too much. The reality of my channel stresses me out. Like, for real.
Are you telling me you take psychic damage as you put out videos?
You know what'd be so funny? If I was like the most mentally well person ever. You know that clip from SpongeBob? Hi, I'm normal. Like, I actually think that would be terrifying. That would be hilarious. That would be the funniest possible outcome if that was the person making these videos. Yeah, I take a lot of psychic damage. I like have to I can't talk about my job. I think people take for granted how often they talk about their job and how like routine that is in everyday conversation. I simply do not have the option to do that because my job is disgusting.
It's nice to meet you. What do you do for work? Well, I recently made a half-hour video on male pregnancy.
Well, this actually wraps neatly to the question you asked at the very beginning. What do you tell people? And the answer is, I haven't figured out a good answer just yet. Because every answer, you can tell I'm hiding something. You could tell how desperately I don't want you to know the truth of my job.
So, pardon me. So I want you to know that back when I met my partner, I try to keep this channel as much of a secret as I humanly can. Like, barely any of my family know about it. Like a handful of my friends, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But on the very first date we were on, I immediately folded. Then it was reflex, and it fell out. I was just, hey, what do you do for a hobby? And I'm like, I make videos on the internet, and I wear a mask, and I'm also a talk show host. Oh no.
Listen, to anyone who immediately takes umbrage with that is not really the right type of person, right?
Right.
You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. I think most people would find that very interesting. We take how online we are for granted. You got to remember, to some people, like, I know I'm being a hypocrite because I just said, like, I don't like talking about my job either, but to some people, you say I work at I work at YouTube. My job is YouTube, and they go, "Whoa!" I like that. I like it strokes my ego when they're ignorant to the reality of it. I don't think it's cringe at all to tell people you have a YouTube channel, honestly. I don't.
I just, like, so when I folded, I think I made it worse on myself because I was like, yeah, I'm a talk show host, I wear a mask, and here is a photo of my mask. Here you go, like, giving all of my secret away.
It's okay. It happens to all of us. Sometimes you just get yappy.
Yeah, I haven't been judged for it yet.
If you're around the right people, you won't be. It won't be such a big deal.
I mean, it's been almost 3 years. Watch tomorrow, I'm going to hear, oh yeah, that mask is weird. You're weird.
Nah. The most interesting thing about YouTube that I learned just from doing it is that the thing that you think you're going to get the most shit for, it's never something you expect.
Yeah.
The thing you get made fun of for, rightfully or wrongfully, it's always going to be a surprise. Which is kind of comforting, because at least the thing you're really scared of, they usually don't hit on it. But that being said, I am sleepy. I thought this was a very great conversation. Thank you so much for reaching out and having me on. It's really, unfortunate that you clearly have seen quite a few of these videos just based on these different references you've made. So, that sucks. Thank you for the views, but take care of yourself.
I think this is the first time I've run into a guest that's like, oh, you're a fan of my stuff? Ah, shit.
It's really like that. I swear. I'm not doing it for the bit. I genuinely feel this way. Anyone who knows me in real life can vouch for this. They can vouch for two things. One, that my channel freaks me out, and two, that my ridiculous mannerisms are the same on and off camera. That's all I can tell you.
Well, with that, Frankie, we will wrap this up. I do have 2 questions for you to get us out of here.
Sure.
Thankfully, they're very easy. First one, do you have a video on your channel that you were particularly proud of? I know we just talked shame for the last hour and a half, but do you have one that you're fond of on a technical level that you would like to have in the description of this here video?
Oh, yeah. You know what? I think the gay Luigi one, I think it's just so universally, it's just such a good topic.
Yeah.
You don't have to know anything about anything to be intrigued by this one, so I'm not shocked that it did, it did pretty well. Yeah, definitely, if you've never seen my channel before and you're listening to this and you're like, why is she describing it like that? Like, how bad could it possibly be? Check out Gay Luigi, and if that's not sufficiently offensive, you might like the other stuff.
You'll understand. When you see, you'll understand.
This will be like a great baseline. This is a really great video to filter people out.
And the final question, which will get us out of here today, would you be open to coming back as a return guest?
Yes, absolutely. It was a great conversation. Definitely. Whenever you want to have me back on, just let me know.
Fantastic. Say whenever that hit piece on me comes out, we'll...
Oh, that'll be it's 11:36 my time. So 5 a.m. EST. I guess that would be 4 a.m. for you. Just keep your eyes peeled. That would actually be the funniest thing I've ever done.
But with that, thank you so much, Frankie, for coming on. This has been an absolute blast. It's been an absolute joy talking to you.
Same here. Thank you so much. I am going to go knock out.
Sure thing. And party people at home, thank you very much for sticking to the end of this episode. Links to both that video and overall Frankie's channel will be in the description below. But until next time, I'm Fresman. This has been Demasked, and I'll see all of you next time.